started.
Sounds good.
And we are back with another episode. CZ, how you been, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good. It's been a while.
Yeah, you've been on your wizarding adventures here lately. What's been going on, dude?
Well, whole lot has been going on. I've been, just doing the card subject to change and going crazy with a bunch of personal stuff. But if you tuned in on Tuesday to Wrestling from the 313, I had a big announcement.
Which was?
We are joining WSN starting in January.
Yay! That freaking time. Anyways,
I intend to take it over and make it the Wizard Society Network, though. But
let's not get ahead of ourselves here. All right. That being said, we're not alone. I got a few special guests with us. I'm going to go ahead and bring one out right now. We mentioned his book last week. You were gone off your wizarding adventures. I don't know what the heck you were doing. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nate Wright. Nate, welcome to the show, brother. Also, he's
hey, everybody.
Also co-host of the Wrestling Twins podcast. Go check them out, by the way.
What's up, everybody?
How's it going, Nate?
It's going great, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, no problem at all. And you're not alone. I actually got another special guest I met on TikTok here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome all the way from West Virginia, not too far away from me, Colton Tyler.
What's up?
That's something Colton never gets. He doesn't get any applause. I'm kidding.
I really don't. It's mainly booze, middle fingers, and getting cussed out. So,
you gotta love those West Virginia crowds.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we spoke about WSN. Let's go ahead and bring some familiar faces from the main event roundtable. You guys.
Bye, Granny.
You guys know this gentleman. He's king of the 313. He is host of Wrestling from the 313. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one, the only, Mike D. Mike, what is going on, brother?
What up, though? What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
All right, Mike's got enough applause. Stop it now. All right. Just because you're king doesn't mean you get all the applause, all right? I'm kidding.
Man, it's good to be back home, man. Had some personal stuff going on. It's just good to be here with you guys talking wrestling again, and looking forward to the new year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're not alone. We got another member of the main event roundtable, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Canada, not that stupid cult called Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam.
Happening, baby.
So, Sam, before we get
what was that?
Hey, that's what played. But here. I got something. Hey. There you go, buddy.
Thank you. How's everyone doing, man? Joe, I've missed you. Wizard, I've missed you. New brothers, I've just met you, so that's beautiful. Mike D, it's great to be back, man. It's been a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. So yeah, let's rip it up.
Yeah.
Just 2 minutes. Wow, that's a shade under a decade there.
And Mike, man, condolences to you and your family, and all those good things.
Man, okay. Sam, real quick before we get started.
Yes, sir.
I want your take again, and we got some new blood here. What's your take on Canada?
Honestly, dude, it's harmless. I mean, look at that face. He's got like when I look at him smile, he's just like a big toddler. I think a baby Huey. Look at that smile. How can you get mad?
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Nick will be back here in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about it. Some wrestling territories. As you guys know, the history of professional wrestling has actually took off. We talked about this past month, Smoky Mountain, Mid-Atlantic, World Class, and just this past week, we talked about Georgia Championship Wrestling. All 4 companies have one thing in common. They revolutionized what we know as professional wrestling today, just in different aspects. So my first question is, what was y'all's favorite territory out of those 4?
I go, I really didn't have, like, growing up, didn't really have a lot of access to those territories. I do remember Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It used to come on an independent local channel in my area. So I do remember when Jim Cornette was running it, and then I remember Kane was on the Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and then they used to have other guys from WWF come over there and wrestle on there too. So I maybe watched maybe like a year of it while it was on that station or whatever. But that's one of the things that I do remember, that they had that WWF crossover.
Yeah, for me, honestly, it's a combination of all 4, to be really, really honest. Like Mike, and even more so for me, being in a different country completely, and a lot of those being so regional, we didn't get access to any of that stuff. And growing up at that time, the internet, YouTube wasn't such a accessible place, if you may, for material. So a lot of the stuff I watched in hindsight, and after the fact. So little things like Unabomber, which was Kane in Smoky Mountain, and then remembering the crossovers, because that's probably the only access I got was with the WWE crossover. So yeah, so it's just a combination of it all, really, but most of it just watching it once it was accessible.
And one thing real quick, when I was watching your video, Joe, that was, you said Chris Jericho and who was it, Lance Storm was in Smoky Mountain?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, now that I didn't know. So that was interesting to find out.
You didn't know the Natural Born Thrillers?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was like, I remember vaguely so many, like, some of the stars they had. Like, I do remember the tag team that Cornette was the manager of, because they were also on WWF too. And I vaguely remember the Gangsters. So yeah, the Heavenly Bodies, that's who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Heavenly Bodies.
Yeah.
All right. Let's ask Youngblood real quick. Colton, out of the 4 territories, which one's your favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with off of what Samp was saying in all 4.
Okay.
Mainly because they were all, their own separate things, but they were all together at like a level wise. And but I'm leaning more towards Smoky Mountain, because they not only because they used to run a lot here in southern West Virginia, but because they were one of the biggest, besides like NWA and AWA and all that. So they had some of the big names, and talent wise was amazing at that time, and they were gaining a lot of traction.
All right. CZ.
So growing up, I wasn't really following the territories. I was strictly a WWF guy until Nitro came into existence. But as the network and now Peacock came into existence, I followed mostly World Class and Smoky Mountain. Those are the 2 I'm most familiar with. So those are the 2 that stand out for me.
Okay. And I think we got Nate trying to come back in here. Let's see if we can get him back in before we move on. Maybe. Nate, there we go. You're back.
This is my final attempt, gentlemen.
Okay, no problem. So the question we asked, between the 4 territories I was able to cover on the history of professional wrestling, between World Class, Smoky Mountain, Mid Atlantic, and Georgia, which one was your personal favorite? And the snow got him. Okay, so he is having bad weather where he's at. So hopefully we'll see him in the comments. It's okay. This has happened before on a live, but I got to agree with you all. All 4 were very influential, which is why I kind of sort of went with those 4, even though 2 of them was kind of voted by the fans. But if I have to go with most influential, I hate saying this, and this is probably just because it's a newer episode, and the more I think about it, the more it's right. The one that kind of shaped everything would have to be Georgia. And we'll get into that a little later on. But let's talk about Smoky Mountain for a little bit, since we got some Smoky Mountain heads here. Wait, that didn't sound right. But anyways, Smoky Mountain, of course, was started by Jim Cornette, everybody's favorite manager. Especially, this gentleman I'm about to pull up right now. If the computer will pull up. Where's he at? Oh, there he is, right there. Tanahoma. There he is. Tanahoma loves Jim Cornette. But but with Jim Cornette starting that, he actually had a pretty good reason for starting it. Got ticked off over WCW. Didn't like the direction it was going. So he decided, what the heck with it? I'm just going to start my own thing. We're going to bring back wrestling how it should be. So with Jim, with that, a lot of people, we mentioned some, Kane being Unabomb. If I'm not mistaken, the Headbangers came through Smoky Mountain. The Gangstas, out of all people, came through Smoky Mountain before going to ECW, which they about got Smoky Mountain pulled off the freaking air, thanks to New Jack. And, of course, you had Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton. You had the Heavenly Bodies. You had Chris Candido with Tammy. Just a lot of guys that kind of shaped the 90s that we've seen to the mid-90s to the early 2000s came through Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So what was your guys' favorite memory of Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Well, again, like for me in real time, it would have been all the crossovers with the WWF at the time. That was my exposure to Smoky Mountain in real time. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, everything else was in clips or matches. Mm-hmm. The Heavenly Bodies, the crossovers with them is probably the one thing I remember the most. Whenever they brought Kane in, they never brought him in as a Unabomber. They brought him in as Isaac Yankum. Then the obvious change, fake Diesel. So really, it was just that crossover stuff. But I mean, I always knew it existed and things like that. I always had that already there. I knew that part. But the accessibility, man, it was just like you kids. All the kids watching here today, you kids are bloody lucky. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Sam's got a really good point. The accessibility. I think that's what stands out to me the most. Talk about the back and forth with WWF at the time. That definitely is the biggest highlight for me, is just the exposure that they were getting and they were given being on the platform they were.
And if I may very quickly, sorry guys, magazines still played an impactful role at that point in wrestling history. They still were a tool. That's where I got most of my information from. Yeah, I was probably a month behind. They always were, right? A month and a half. But that's how we got our day-to-day knowledge of what was going on.
What's a magazine?
Well, that's what I'm saying, man.
Because I know some kids, no offense, Cole, I know you're in this younger generation that we're kind of sort of picking on a little bit, but
no, it's not even picking on, man. It is the evolution.
Oh, yeah. I know. I had a kid ask me. He was about 14. He asked me what a VHS was, and I had to explain it to him. And his eyes got very big when I started explaining to him what it was. So
Did you explain to him what you had to do when it got stuck in the VCR?
yeah, I explained the pencil method and everything. So
And here I am, a part of that whole tape trading generation.
I would say,
you were
I
part
would
of
say,
it, dude. I don't want to hear it.
No, I was, dude. Like I ran a shop out of my locker.
I would say, like me growing up, and growing up in Detroit, and wrestling coming on TV, it was all about WWF. We didn't even have access to WCW or local channels, and if they did, they came on at like 1, 2 in the morning. Yeah. And I think that's how it was with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I think it came on at like 10:30 at night, something like that. So it was like, even at that time, it was just like, it really wasn't no real push for it then. If it was strictly WWF back in the day, you know what I'm saying? And
same for us. Like for us, we get WWE Saturday afternoon, and then we would get on what is now the CW network at that time.
Yeah,
we would get NWA/WCW at like 11 p.m. midnight on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times I got in trouble for sitting in front of the TV as a little kid watching that show and getting caught.
Oh man, CZ, where'd you go, buddy? He just no, I don't even know the wizarding spell for that. But I came later on, and I don't think like you said, Sam, like people today are so lucky that they have like YouTube and the library and stuff. And even back then, there was tape traders too. If you don't know what tape traders is borrowing tapes, kids. That's what tape trading is. But you'd swap them back and forth.
The reason I stepped away, for those who don't know, this right here is a magazine, and this one still exists. This is the most recent, or one of the most recent copies of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Nice.
You go through, you've got articles and everything wrestling related. So if you don't know what a magazine is, if you have a local bookstore, stop by. They have an entire section of them, and there's something for everybody.
Wait, there's no memes to that, dude. How are we supposed to read?
I don't have it with me at this house, but at my old house, I have an 1989 magazine from I forgot who it was by, but it was one of the wrestling ones, and it had a signature in it.
Very cool.
If I can find it, I'll obviously send it to Joe. And
I got a WWF Raw magazine that goes into Mick Foley's hardcore career.
Nice.
Yep. So there you go. And yes, it actually had posters. The posters.
Yeah.
The girls that were hanging in your grandpa's garage, kids. Yeah, that's where they came out of. Exit.
Hey, it's still in good condition too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, it is. It's Foley. Of course, I want to keep it in good condition. What's wrong with you guys? But yeah, man. Smoky Mountain, I think I wouldn't say it was as influential as the other three, but it did have a purpose in bringing in what we know as the legends of the 90s and the early 2000s, and kind of sort of the predecessor of OVW.
You know what, though? That's exactly where I was going with it. It was almost kind of like a breeding ground for the WWE.
Yeah.
Like you saw the transfer of talent going in between a lot, right?
Well, you can also argue
USWA
too.
USWA as well.
Yep. USWA. That's where Flex Kavana came from, right?
True.
Flex Kavana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Man, he has a TV show and everything talking about that.
You know what? I never watched this TV show.
Hey, Mike, It's okay, brother. It's okay. It's okay, man.
I would watch a couple minutes of it and I'd be like, okay, but then I would just turn. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't think it was bad, but
I get what you're saying. I get. Yeah. But yeah, so that's basically Smoky Mountain in a little bit of a nutshell. So let's move on to something that a lot of people are probably familiar with today, thanks to a certain film that is not. I'm going to stress the Iron Claw is not 100% historically accurate. That's the only pet peeve I have. But I went into that movie knowing that's going to happen, thanks to Hollywood. Okay, enough of that rant. But World Class Championship Wrestling, believe it or not, was kind of the predecessor for getting nationwide television in a way. Was one of those first people. And the production itself, I talked about it. They would use that kind of like the NFL. They would use the slow motion recap, and they would have like 3 or 4 different camera angles set up. And they had the Sportatorium, which I wish was still up today. And not many people realize that. Yes, sure, they traveled, but there was always that space where the ring was always set up. Everybody knew where to go on Friday or Saturday nights. Sportatorium, which Georgia was kind of like that, and so was Mid-Atlantic, and so was Smoky Mountain. But not as big as the Sportatorium there. I think the only thing that would be bigger would probably be Mid-South, the Coliseum there. That would probably be about the only thing I can compare the Sportatorium to. But most people will probably remember the Sportatorium over the Mid-South Coliseum. But you had the Von Erichs, you had the Fabulous Freebirds, you had Iceman King Parsons, you had Abdullah the Butcher, you had Bruiser Brody, you had the Missing Link, you had the Great Kabuki. All these different legends, I know I'm missing a few, but came through. And now, look at Michael P.S. Hayes. He's still working for the WWE. He's still influential in the business. And if I can say anything about like what they brought to the table in terms of, okay, what they bring to the industry, it would be more the production side versus the wrestling. And this, I knock at the Von Erichs, but the Von Erichs were kind of like the heart and soul, and they were centerpieced around everything. And I think it helped, but it kind of hurt in a way too when they were trying to bring up the other talent, because they kind of sort of overshadowed the others as well.
You hit the nail on the head there. You hit the nail on the head when you said Michael P.S. Hayes. The man himself was the entertainment innovator before his time. And if you look at a lot of the great things that have happened in the WWE modern time, is because of his ideas and, working with Vince and whatnot. But like you said, that was the beginning of a lot of what we see today. That promotion. I mean, and that's what stood out. Having the Von Erichs like the Hearts in Stampede Wrestling. I hope, when you do decide to come up north and check out Stampede, that's an historical ground as well. You got to do a show on that on the history of wrestling.
That's coming. That's coming.
Yeah, and I'd love to be a part of that with you if that's the case. But like the Hart family was the centerpiece, and you had everything else around them. Michael Hayes had that production level that was different from everything else everywhere else.
Right.
CZ, was you trying to say something, buddy?
No, he made my point. I was there.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You were right on.
Outclassed the wizard there. Okay.
I will say that we talk about the Freebirds and we talk about the Von Erichs, and you talk about the production. This WCCW is where ring music, entrance music, really became prominent. You had the Bad Street USA. The further down the block you go, the badder it got.
Actually, hang on. The further down the block you went, the badder it got. There you go.
Yep.
Sorry.
I just know one thing about WCCW. That was just the home of the Von Erichs. Like anytime anyone mentioned that promotion, that's all you heard was that's all you heard was the Von Erichs. And they did a lot of great stuff in that promotion. And it's just sad to see how how tragically they all passed away and stuff like that. But other than that, they did they did a lot of good things and opened a lot of doors for what you see in a lot of promotions now.
Yeah, but like you just said, the only thing that you know, like, or a casual fan will know, oh yeah, Von Erich.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Colton, what do you think?
My thought was that if you don't know the Von Erichs, do you even know wrestling? Because the Von Erichs were like you all have said, were the name, were the guys. And they were always talked about. They were always the ones doing I guess the interviews at that time, if you want to say that. They were the ones that were can't talk, sorry.
That's right.
Popularizing everything in that era, in that time, along with the Freebirds. And, they're the ones that were bringing fans in. So it circles back to my point. If you don't know the Von Erichs, you don't know wrestling.
No. Also, the only thing I think was a big black eye to the Von Erichs was Lance.
Yeah.
We
That's
don't talk about that.
that's one of CZ's favorite wrestlers, by the way. So if we can Von Erich figure,
If I may, sorry. We were also talking about production. One match that stands out for me, and again, because we didn't get it, to watch it back and to actually go back and watch it again and again, was the Freebirds it was the Freebirds and the Von Erichs together in a steel cage match, and they turned on them or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I remember that so vividly just because being so used to watching New York all the time, the production is always A class. And when you watch these other territory shows at the time, the way they filmed it, the way they got the angles and everything in that match, that's what stood out to me. It wasn't the match per se. It was how it was presented.
And that's what a lot of people don't talk about is the production side of stuff. It's but I'm gonna go modern here just for a few minutes. His name just jumped right out of my head. 30 camera cuts in 2 minutes. Who was that?
Kevin Dunn?
Yeah, Kevin Dunn. He had so many camera cuts in 2 minutes that people were turning the channels. And then once he got fired or quit, whatever it was that happened, the production stepped up a lot. We're getting seamless transactions into segments with people going backstage, walking by another wrestler, and the camera just turning around, going into the next segment. I love that. And I love how we get camera angles, like we stay on the hard cam for 5 minutes. If they go out the ring, floor cam. I love that. That is what we need back in wrestling is production.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so basically, what he said, Kevin Dunn's editing was basically a strobe light.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a strobe light is, kids, Google it. I ain't got time to explain it.
And watch the videos, please.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But I can say this about World Class. The ending, they did end up having to sell to USWA to Jarrett. Then that eventually led to them to the WWF, which then led to again OVW in a way. So it all kind of, if you study wrestling history, it's all going to interconnect, because I'm going to go ahead and interconnect something else here, and that's Georgia Championship Wrestling. Now this one I did not know about too much. I grew up watching the tapes because my grandfather, we lived in Kentucky, so we got the Superstation up here, and he would record it, and we'd watch it back. But with Georgia, if you go back and study the history, it blew my mind that there was this territory war in the 70s after Gunkel passed away. His wife started a new company, not affiliated with the NWA, which, if you all don't know, that's a big no-no. That's like leaving the mob and going and starting your own little group without their permission. There was that big territory war, and of course the NWA eventually won, and we got a championship out of that. And this is where we seen Ole as a booker which we would see again in WCW, but we don't talk about that portion because that's what led Jim Cornette to leave. Well, hell, there's another interconnection I never thought about. Anyways, but again, they had the Superstation. They were able to broadcast live thanks to Ted Turner. They were able to do a lot of things that most territories were having issues with. You know, they didn't have this Superstation. They didn't have this big production, which eventually happened. They didn't have a good TV time slot, and they didn't have a good way of reaching out to people as they did. Then, of course, came Black Friday, where Vince McMahon bought out Georgia Championship Wrestling, and that ticked a lot of people off, and that only lasted a year, which is still more than the first relationship. But yeah, but if that wouldn't have happened, Jim Crockett, who was over Mid-Atlantic, wouldn't have bought it, wouldn't have bought the time slot. We wouldn't have gotten WCW, and we wouldn't have got the big feud between Turner and Vince, which I think led to that buyout on Black Saturday. So just a brief rundown. I want to get your guys' first thoughts. When you think of championship wrestling, what do you guys think?
Well, when I watched your video on Georgia Championship Wrestling, I didn't know that guys like Roddy Piper and Jake the Snake and Ted DiBiase came from there. Yep. And I saw Jake the Snake. He had a title in his hand. I didn't know. Was he that like the world champion, or was he like
that was the Georgia Championship Wrestling television title, which is kind of like the predecessor to the WCW television title.
Sweet. Yeah. See, like I said, like, you know, Georgia, we had no access to that here in the city. You know what I'm saying? And like, right. I didn't know nothing about TBS until like WCW came around and stuff, and the Atlanta Braves. So, you know, because all their games used to come on there and stuff. So, yeah. So it's just cool to like hear, you know what I'm saying, just like learn about like all these different territories to see where these guys came from, especially me growing up, because all I knew is they were in WWF, and just to see the road that they took to get to where they are and the stars that they became, it's just cool.
I'm kind of with Mike on this one. I didn't have a lot of access to GCW, so I didn't know until, you know, doing some research here, watching your video from earlier, a lot at all. I didn't know a lot at all. So this is an education for me about Georgia Championship, because I didn't have access to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a wrestling guy through and through, so I did watch the videos and stuff, you know, things like that. But man, your video, Joe, absolutely done well. I loved it. I sat there, easiest 13 minutes of my life, and it was fun. It was knowledgeable. Some of it I knew, some I didn't, but yeah, it was really good, man. Really, really good. But like most of everyone else, man, I don't think it picked up for me, or we really got the access to it until 1993, 94. And by that time, Bischoff took over. Hogan kind of started to show up. So, yeah.
Okay. Colton?
Okay, what was the question again? I had to take care of something real quick.
No, it's okay. So with Georgia Championship Wrestling, when you first hear those words, what's the first thing that comes to mind to you?
Well, see, obviously I'm the young one here, so I didn't watch it as it was going on. Right. But I really didn't watch a lot of it until I started down here 6 months ago. With the place I work at now. But like I said, I didn't really watch a lot of it. And I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of stuff. And Georgia is the one on my list that's actually next to watch. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know a lot about it just yet. So
okay, no problem. And that's what we're here to discuss, to speak each other's minds, even if you do or do not know it. But yeah, definitely especially for you coming up in the business right now, I'd urge you to watch these old school stuff, which me and you are on speaking to each other. But let's talk about Black Saturday for just a second. A lot of people was like, what the heck is Black Saturday? Well, thanks to Dark Side of the Ring, there's a whole episode on that. First off, can we just say how badass Ole Anderson is? Thanks to this video. If you guys haven't watched it, go watch that episode on Dark Side of the Ring. That goes into more detail on Black Saturday than what I did. But it's insane because you had the Briscoes and Barnett basically pulling together. Okay, here's our shares of the company. We're going to sell to Vince because Vince is the new hot thing that people are loving today. So it's got to do good on television, right? No, it did not. It did not. So that kind of goes back to this is my argument with people who say territory wrestling doesn't work. I can see where you're coming from if you're trying to get a national audience, but if you're getting a specific audience in the area where you're at and they're already used to that style of wrestling, they're going to keep coming back for that specific style of wrestling.
It's like the indies today, very comparable to the territory days. If you have a following in an area and people keep coming, and you're going to keep going back to that area.
Right. And that's what I kind of say, the territories are kind of sort of making a comeback, especially mine and Colton's area. If you stop and think of it, a lot of people stay in their lane. They know the professional wrestling. There's a lot of respectful promoters. I love it. I think that's great. I think we should all stay that way and respect each other's space. But with that, we know, okay, here's our space. What can we do to make the fans keep coming each and every other week or once a month to see this show? And what works, what doesn't work. And if it works, we're going to keep doing what we're doing and not follow what. And I think that's a good lesson we can learn from Georgia Championship Wrestling. Because when he bought that out, the Turner the TV station phones lit up like a Christmas tree. A lot of people were calling in as if people were calling in today because the internet's out. Telemarketing. That's the best way to describe it. A lot of people were mad for a year over that. And he lost money too, which I think is kind of, karma, but hey.
Going to the point that you were making about trying to find out what works, what doesn't work, what brings people in, what don't. That's what the company that I work for is going through right now. We are on the downside of people. We're only drawing like 10, 12 people a week. And we're trying everything in the book to try and get people back in.
Well, here's another thing to that too. We can learn from not the company itself, but we can actually kind of learn from Ole Anderson himself, just the relentlessness of staying focused on what works. Okay, I know what works. This is what we're going to do. We're not straying from it. This company ain't going anywhere. Why would we get rid of a good thing?
Right.
So that all also comes back on being relentless, ruthless, and dare I say headstrong on what works, because that's the way Ole Anderson was when he was booking and taking care of Georgia Championship Wrestling. It still baffles me that they were crazy enough. Hey, Ole, just let you know we're selling Clickman and just run away. You can't do that. They can do that. I think they had they were able to pull. I could be mistaken in saying this. People who are watching this now or later on, you can correct me. I think they got just like 51%, and was able just enough. Yeah, it was like barely just over 50%, and they were able to sell to Vince. So that just boggles my mind till this day about him doing that, and he did that with a lot of these territories too, which I'll get on later videos. But all right, Sam, Mike D, CZ, any other comments on Black Saturday?
I don't think Vince was interested in the promotion. I think he was just interested in the TV.
Yeah,
that's all it was for him.
The market to get out there. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, they kind of still had more of a national market, right?
Yeah.
Vince was trying to get to that market, and he saw that as opportunity.
Yeah,
But,
this was the height of rock and wrestling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You know, where we're talking WrestleMania, we're talking all the stuff that kind of came into that whole realm of things. It was all about contracts and TV. I mean, this is where hate him or love him, man. This is where Vince was ahead of everybody. Right? I mean, you know, this very simply put, I mean, us here tonight is because of everything he did.
So me and Colton had a discussion on his show, which is out right now. Go check it out. Between the Ropes. What is it, podcast?
Radio. Yeah, Between the Ropes Radio. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Between the Ropes Radio. He asked the question. We had a conversation about, did Vince destroy the territories? And I made a point of, well, yes and no. No, because I mean, one person technically can't destroy a territory. Most of those territories were folding as the rock and wrestling was happening. Yes, because I use Georgia as an example. He basically bought his way in to these territories, or was able to buy their top stars, like how Roddy Piper was becoming a top star, not only in Georgia but Mid-Atlantic, and he brought him up to New York, so to speak. One from World Class, Kamala. That's another person, believe it or not, who was in World Class, got famous there, and went to WWF. It's all about the money, boys. That's basically what that is.
Yep.
But it didn't. Georgia, though, I think was a lesson for him. He realized the demographic. Okay, this ain't working. I'm going to sell to somebody else now. This ain't working. It's not as much. Which in a business, that's going to happen, and that's what I think personally. I think Vince McMahon ruined what we know. He didn't ruin sports entertainment. He ruined professional wrestling by monopolizing it as much as he did.
I will agree with that.
Because if think about it, if he would have just stayed, let's say he stopped around the Ohio Valley area, not the Mid-Atlantic area, but the Ohio Valley area, and he didn't expand onward, what would wrestling look like today?
You know what though? But if Vince didn't take everything over the way he did, then we wouldn't have what we have today.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's hard for me to say if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because I don't know how affected I was, because I kind of grew up with it as it was happening. Right? I mean, we accepted it for what it was, and to be completely honest, most of the stuff that happened, we didn't even know about. We didn't even know it ever happened. Like, we were still very divided in terms of how information traveled and how everything flowed. So we just kind of went with the flow. And because we saw all these other promotions like UWF, WCW was still around. You had AWA. Then you throw in the 90s, Smoky Mountain, USWA, the emergence of TNA to a certain extent, right? ECW. All these kind of things. You're thinking, okay, everything is up on the keel. We know Vince mortgaged everything for WrestleMania, and it's like that, right? But all the stuff before that, we didn't get till later on. So it's hard. Mike.
And then you could say he tried to create a territory within WWE with NXT and NXT UK.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It worked for a while, but it
was doing really well, man. The pandemic killed it.
Yeah. Pandemic.
Yeah.
I agree.
Pandemic. I think pandemic just about killed wrestling.
That was a resilient time. If there was ever a time that it could have been destroyed, it was right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to.
I'll say this: if the pandemic never happened, I think NXT would be bigger than what it is now.
I think indies would be bigger than they are now if it weren't for the pandemic.
Yeah.
They probably.
If it weren't for the pandemic, Roman Reigns wouldn't have held the title for 4,000 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, he beat Hogan. That's all that matters. All right, he beat the Hogan.
Yep.
Yeah. But let's move away from Georgia. What was influential, what started that was basically the Monday Night Wars. Because if you stop to think about it, if they didn't sell to Vince, Vince wouldn't have had that flop for about a year. He wouldn't have sold to Jim Crockett Promotions, which we'll talk about here in a second. And we wouldn't have gotten WCW, the Turner versus McMahon Billionaire War, and the Monday Night War. So Georgia, a lot of people want to sleep on that company. I'm like, guys, if I'm wanting to make my point on that video, like, this company is a heck of a lot more influential than what people want to give it credit for. So if there's any one that was close to like being a nexus aside from World Class and Mid Atlantic, it's this one. But let's move on to probably one of the most well known, especially for people who are digging through the library, because you probably heard this gentleman right here. all over this territory. I'm talking about Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling, which was basically the how can I say this? Kind of like the main territory for the NWA championships in a way, even though they were defended in every territory, but this is where it was mainly known for.
Yep.
And that kind of ticks me off in a way, because that Mid Atlantic title gets slept on way too freaking much, and it is a beautiful title. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but that Mid Atlantic Championship title, Piper held this freaking belt, for crying out loud. Jack Brooks held this belt.
Yeah.
So it's
I've seen it. It's one of my favorite belts from that time. I love that belt. I really do. I wish I could actually get a replica version of that belt.
I'm sure you can somewhere, but
I mean, yeah. One of my friends actually has one, and he brought it and showed me, and I about stole it right then and there. But yeah, it's one of the most beautiful belts I've seen from that era.
And it was prestige too, because not only that belt, I think a territory had to at least had a heavyweight championship in a way. Then they had the tag titles, which is where we got Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood, which is still one of the most underrated tag teams of all time. Then the NWA started pushing their stuff, like the national title, which became the United States title, which became the national title when NWA had that weird reboot in the mid 90s. We don't talk about that. But Mid Atlantic, that's what a lot of people are known for, where they kind of get mistaken. Oh, this was pre WCW. This is where the Horsemen were. This is where the Road Warriors and stuff were. This was NWA, right? Well, yes, basically. That's the best way to put Mid Atlantic. It was brought by Jim Crockett Promotions, who would, of course, later buy the time slot and would eventually turn to WCW. But when you guys hear Mid Atlantic, who is the first person that you think of when you hear Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling?
Flair.
Yeah, I was thinking Flair, but I didn't know if that was right or not.
Gordon Solie and Tony Schiavone with a mustache.
Oh yeah.
The opening promos to the show, the setup for the main event, usually Ric Flair or Dusty Rhodes. That's where I believe Mid Atlantic is where the Common Man promo was cut. Was it there?
Yes, it was. It was Mid Atlantic.
And I think it was the Hard Times promo too, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's the one I'm talking about. Sorry.
Yeah.
The Hard Times promo.
Because,
sorry.
Because if you look back, the background that they had the Mid Atlantic written on it. So yeah, that's where
that was classic studio, TV studio wrestling, man, right there.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah,
loved it. That was everything, right? Yeah. Road Warriors, beautiful.
That's what I had to watch before I went up to where I wrestle. Was a lot of Mid Atlantic. And if I'm not mistaken, that's where the iconic "Tear in My Eye" promo from Flair was too, wasn't it?
No, that was in WWF.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Oh, the Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was later.
No, that was Royal Rumble when he won the WWF title.
Oh, okay. Man,
But
that's mixed up there.
Mid-Atlantic was also where like the Horsemen dominated too, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget about the Andersons, the team of Ole and Arn before they became Horsemen.
Gotcha.
Because we had Ole and Gene in Georgia, but when that got bought out and Mid-Atlantic started up getting really hot, that's when Ole and Arn started becoming a thing.
Sweet.
I would say Mid-Atlantic became the foundation for WCW in
Basically,
more or less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were that foundation. I mean, shit, if it was still around, Sting probably would have started there first.
Yeah.
Now was Arn and Ole, was they supposed to be like storyline brothers or something like that, or they just happened to just have the same last name?
Right. I think they were like cousins or something like that.
Cousins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But if you look back, technically, Sting did start in Mid-Atlantic, but it was just known as NWA before.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
He was in that weird. He was in where the transition was happening from the NWA Mid-Atlantic to WCW. But yeah, it's if you stop and think about it, this was what main normal professional, like everyday wrestling fan can look back and go, oh, so this is where WCW started. Okay. But it was just more than that. It was an important territory before even all that started. And like I said earlier, it was that television production that they had, that studio wrestling. They had the ring right there with just 3 bleacher sets with maybe can hold 200 to 300 people, if that. Then you had the studio over here on this side, and they can just flip over and watch it.
Can you imagine how intimate that could have was? Like seriously, you think about you're there. Ric Flair right there, Dusty right there. Like you can smell the Road Warriors. Like shit, man.
And they were like from here to here. That's how far the ring was from the bleachers.
Yeah.
But
wow.
If I was an independent promotion, the ones production wise, I would look at World Class, and I would also look at Mid-Atlantic, because you ain't going to get a sportatorium. If you can, God bless you. You must be close to $1 millionaire to be able to afford something like that.
Yeah.
But if you have like an old high school gym or whatever that you can probably do and keep maintenance on for a long time, then you got to look at Mid-Atlantic, because it's a small studio feel, smaller than what people would see NXT today. But it looked like a big production setup though.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the production for the TV shows, and we're talking about the big names that came through there. What about the events? Starrcade,
Great American
Starrcade '83. Yeah. You mentioned it on your history, the dog collar match.
Oh, between Greg the Hammer Valentine and Roddy Piper. Which before that, Greg the Hammer Valentine and Chief Jay Strongbow had a dog collar match too.
I did not know that.
Yes, I had to check. I was like, hang on. Did I mean to put Piper on there? And I looked it up. I was like, no, Chief Jay Strongbow. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. My grandmother would kill me because that's her favorite wrestler.
I actually, before we came on, I actually put on the dog collar match from Starrcade '83 just to kind of hype myself up a little bit.
Yeah, especially that promo afterwards. This is all you done? This is just a little blood coming out of my ear. This is all you can do? Piper was insane back then.
Yes.
I'm trying to go back and see what the last match it was I watched from there.
But yeah, I mean, not only that, one thing I failed to mention, we were talking about Georgia, predecessors that took on from each of these territories. We'll just do that real quick. Georgia basically had the first Hell in the Cell match with Buzz Sawyer and Wildfire Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
And of course, we got Starrcade, these wonderful pay-per-views, not PLEs, dang it, pay-per-views from Atlantic / NWA. World Class had the Star Wars series, which was a great pay-per-view series. And Smoky Mountain, excuse me, it's more of a local thing. Colton can probably relate to this. He's in the same area I'm in. They would have like these, what would be a mega independent event.
Yes.
So yeah, that's one thing that all those guys still pull. But I think we know that they influence TV wrestling, which I sadly don't get to watch a lot of. But I think, and I know if a lot of these independent promotions can just take a step back. I know some of them's probably just starting out and don't have the financial being or the how-to do it. But if people can just step back, forget the Titantrons, you don't need that fancy bullcrap. Forget all the flashy lights. You guys can just step back, build you, if you can, a little bit of a set where it's just off to the side of the ring, kind of like how Mid-Atlantic has. You have an interviewing area. You can even put your commentating desk right there for crying
That's
out.
exactly what the company does that I work for. That's exactly what they do. They got the entrance. I'm going to spill the beans. He's probably going to get mad at me, but I don't care. So we're in a fire department, and we got tarps up, and then we got a little pillars, and we got the curtains with just a few lights on it. That's our entranceway. When you're coming out off to the left, you got lights and stuff for this, and it's an orange background with our logo on it. That's the interview station, and then literally right beside the entranceway is the commentary, and then about 20 feet is the ring. Exactly how you described it.
And I think stuff like that could help a independent promotion easily. It's just that's not just going to help it. That you have the look, but you got to have the execution of it too.
Right. And I found the matches that I've watched. The last two matches I watched just here recently was Dennis Caudry versus Ricky Morton.
Dennis Caudry.
Yeah. And then for the Southeastern title, it was Terry Taylor versus Dennis Caudry. So that was the last two matches I watched.
Hey, there's the star of the show right there.
Yep,
Hey,
sorry.
it's Cat.
Everybody wants to be Cat. It's Yoda. It's my baby. That's my wrestling. Jazz, I heard we're talking about wrestling. We're doing good? Yes, we are. Go on. But yeah, sorry, Colton. I know you're the cats. Sam gets upset if I don't at least show one cat on here.
Oh.
But yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, I think if independent promotions can sit back and study some of this old school stuff, I know the Art of Grappling up in Ohio, which our boy Brock Spoder is part of. He runs it and helps run it. That's Bobby Blaze, his training school up there. Dude, they do great, and they just follow the old school stuff. Triple Crown Wrestling is starting to get that. I hope this next production meeting I can convince them to do that, which they kind of already do. Ultimate Championship Wrestling, which is run by Terry England, they do that. Appalachian Mountain, they do that. But I think what people like it, and again, this goes back to your area. I think what people like around the Kentucky, Virginia, Carolina, this area, Tennessee, they like that old school wrestling feel.
Yeah.
So I want to ask this question. Well, Colton, I pretty much answered for you. In your guys' area, what would you think could your local independent promotions could benefit by watching these old school territories? Just in your mind. CZ, I know you especially because you've been traveling to a lot of independent promotions a lot here lately.
I mean, I think I kind of look at it as a now and then type of thing. I think that social media is underused across the board with independent wrestling, but with that, you can do something like have one of your commentators do an interview, even cut it after the show, cut it before the show, put it on socials for that event or for the next event or whatever. That I think doing something like that, having added production and the use of social media, because that's the big machine right now. That's what's going to get you butts in the seats, to quote Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
So around here, West Virginia is a weird one. towards Virginia side, they like the old school.
Mhm.
Towards the middle and southern part, it's a mix of modern and old school. A little middle and the rest of West Virginia is very modern.
Huh.
So it just really depends on where you're at here.
That's strange. I figured it'd be more, this classic,
Yeah.
huh?
But yeah, like I said, it just depends on where you're at.
Okay. Sam, Mike D.
So,
Oh, go ahead, Sam.
no.
All right.
Brothers first.
Then just to kind of take something from CZ, his answer, I would like to see more promotions try to get their shows on more platforms like WSN. You know what I'm saying? It would be cool if they did a live streaming of their show on WSN on the weekend or something like that. So I can't really think of what they could take away from the territories, but just for something that they could do now, I think a lot of promotions should look into something like WSN where you could put your show on the network. You can have it on the internet. You can have it on the app. You can put it on Facebook. So I don't know. I think if there's a promotion out there watching, should consider it.
All right, Sam.
Okay, yeah, everyone made great points, but I'm going to go in a bit of a different direction here with it.
Okay.
I think what we are looking at is a different time today than what the territories were. So I don't think they can take anything physical from them. But what I wish they could take from them and learn more from them is the psychology of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I find that with most of, with majority of indie promotions that I've seen locally, that I've seen otherwise, it's a move fest. It's more to get your spots in, and then it's just more that kind of fast. Whereas I feel the psychology portion of it is getting lost now. And if you start bringing some of that back into it, that engages the people. It's the psychology that engages the fans.
I agree. I'm going from a worker standpoint here. So just here recently, a few weeks ago, we had one of the biggest draws that we've ever had for this one company that only runs once a month. And that was because we pushed the flyer. Everybody did promos. Everybody made it feel real. I had a match against my I said this on my show. It was gonna be the exact same thing. So I had a match against my locker room uncle, and I did a promo, and I made it real. I said that that I'm basically going to, and so I'll wear a shirt of my opponent. I'm the heel. So I'll wear a shirt of the opponent or like of their favorite band or whatever. So I'm wearing an ICP shirt, even though I'm a juggalo myself, but I was facing another juggalo. I had 160 people flipping me off, cussing me out, calling me a fake juggalo and everything. So I agree the psychology is missing.
I think not only I think it's simple stuff like that that's missing. People see. I think we talked about this a couple nights ago. I think people see like spot after spot after spot, and that's what you have to do in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not necessarily. No, absolutely not. It's okay to have a spot. I think at maximum, maybe 2 or 3, maybe.
And
Joe,
don't
spots are supposed to be special.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what makes a spot a spot.
Right. And I was going to get to if you're going to do 3, it's got to be at least for like a world title match or a heavyweight title match, something special or some kind of other title match, whatever. I don't think every match needs to have like this. Oh my God.
Yeah. And now all the major spots are happening match 1 with 2 undercards.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being match 1, dang it. Okay.
I know I'm match 1 every time, so don't worry. I can say this.
Can I, we're talking about psychology. Can I give a shout out to the last show I was at for Absolute Pro Wrestling?
Sure, go for it.
They did something completely unexpected that had the crowd just in awe. Not necessarily in a good way. So their main champion is from the town that they run in, Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
And his opponent is like the most hated person in that city. And they were going for the championship. You expect the heel to do some kind of shenanigans to get himself over? No. This was a straight match. And I'm guilty of it too. My buddy Zach and I were both expecting some kind of craziness to happen for him to win the title. No. He hit a stomp on the champion. He got the pin clean, 1, 2, 3, and the crowd just dropped.
Didn't know how to think.
They were all in just shock. And I was too, because no one was expecting it. That to me is the sign of a great story being told.
And I think another thing, we talked about chasers earlier. Javon Evans is a great chaser. If I could put any modern wrestler, it's Javon Evans. Dusty was a phenomenal. That's the best example of it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what's missing from wrestling. That could involve like the promos and stuff, promoting stuff at the event. Promote that title match, if you will, baby. Ric Flair, I'm coming for that World Heavyweight title, baby. It's gonna be around the American Dream's waist. If I could fit it there, pretty soon, baby. You better believe it. No, stuff like that. A lot of people don't. It's simple, very simple stuff. Like I agree with every single one of you. I think everybody should take a history. You know what? Hang on. I want to say this. I know Bear's a professor. Wouldn't this make me a professor?
Yes.
Or at least a dean of wrestling podcasting or something like that. I don't know.
Dean
Maybe
Monroe.
an adjunct professor.
A what?
An adjunct professor.
Wouldn't that make Rob an adjunct wizard?
We
will call you Dean Joe Mo.
That sounds like a bad chant.
I like him, man. Dean Joe Mo.
Oh my God.
The dean of professional wrestling. Yep, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we can even do up your music like Slicks. Dean Mojo. He's a Dean Mojo.
Coming from like, oh my God. All right. Yeah, just a little sorry, Bear. Shout out to Professor Bear. He's on date night right now, so I hope you have oh no. Say his name and he appears. It's not Joe Hendry, it's the Nova of Cass.
And to think I was about to give him some props for one of his recent episodes. I won't now.
But you know what? Let me give some roses here. I want to thank ATB because he was the guy that really kind of pushed me to do this. And thank you guys because you guys were like, dude, we need more history stuff. That stuff was pretty good. I don't feel like it, guys. Oh, okay, your choice. But Aaron's like, you got to do it. Like, you got to do it. Do it, Joe. Do it. He was like Shia LaBeouf in my face, And I'm like, hey, Jesus, I'll do one. Calm down. And that just took off. A lot of people on YouTube, I'm almost at 350 freaking followers.
That's what's up.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
And Mike be like, how many are you up?
I'm getting close to 7,300.
Yeah, shut up, Mike. I'm kidding. No, Mike D's our YouTube guru. But it's nice. It's nice that I love the interactions that I'm getting in the comments. Even the trolls. I love messing with those guys. But
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, you had to deal with the troll. It's all right.
Oh yeah.
I told you how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's awesome to see that people still care about wrestling history, no matter what you talk about, and that's my main focus. Mixing two loves I have, which is history and wrestling, and a lot of people love it too. So thank you all to the fans who are watching this. You guys are awesome. We're going to keep going with the history of professional wrestling. I think next week's going to be our last episode for 2025. We're going to talk about championship wrestling from Florida, which is the Graham's territory. And the following Friday would be the Joe Monroe Show Award. And for people saying, oh, he don't have a to give out, well, actually, I'm proud to say I do have physical awards to give out. And they are indeed laminated. So it's not just a piece of paper.
Wow.
You can thank Libby for that. She's the one that got them laminated.
We upped the budget, didn't we?
Yeah. It pays that my wife works at the library. So. Anyways. But yeah, the Joe Monroe Show Awards will be next week. Gentlemen, at this point in time, we're over an hour. Colton, this is your first time here. I'm going to let you go first. Go ahead and plug your social medias and the companies you work for.
All right. So, as we've mentioned a couple of times, I have my own podcast out there called Between the Ropes Radio. We just did the second episode with Joe, which is out now. So please go subscribe. We are currently sitting at, I think, 8 subscribers right now. And I'm hoping to, by mid 2026, I'm hoping to at least have 100. So nothing too major. I'm on X, Facebook, TikTok. TikTok and X are Colton Canterbury Productions. I believe my X is KC Productions because it wouldn't let me fit all of it. My other YouTube channel is also Colton Canterbury Productions. I got a group of people working on a major project that we have spent a lot of time and money on. So we're hoping that hope it goes good. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Sam.
Man, I'm going to keep it really, real simple. I've done enough of these now. Very simple, boys and girls. Go to Google, punch in Samp and Chance, and you will find us everywhere there. You'll find all our socials and everything. We're a wrestling, boxing show as well. We cover both sports. Love both sports. So yeah, Samp and Chance, YouTube. Channel's doing great. Everything's great. Thank you to everyone subscribing. And you can find us on WSN, the Wrestling Society Network. We're also there as well. Another great place to get all your wrestling fixes and desires.
Mike D.
Same thing as Sam, just go to Google, Yahoo, put in Wrestling from the 313. You'll find all our stuff there. Doing my last show for 2025. The main event roundtable will be on. We're gonna just review the year 2025 in pro wrestling, and yeah, man, get ready for 2026.
Gonna make me cry because John Cena's last match tomorrow. All right.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that.
All right, CZ, you know what to do.
Absolutely. Find us at CSTC Podcast on most social media platforms and YouTube. Card Subject to Change Podcast over on Facebook. Joe, you were talking about your award show. We have our award show coming up a week from Sunday, which is a fan-voted award show. So head on over to Card Subject to Change Podcast on Facebook. Click on the Google Doc and help us get a ton of votes for your favorite moments, matches and wrestlers of the year. And then one more thing I'll plug. Sunday, we do our Ugly Sweater Show, is what we call it. Our annual review of the worst pay-per-views you can imagine. Go out of your way and watch Heroes of Wrestling on YouTube. If you have not seen this, it is a train wreck. And Nick and I will give our takes on it on Sunday.
Go ahead, Mike.
real quick, and I forgot about this, and I'm surprised Sam forgot about this. Make sure y'all check out the Professor and the Sam podcast also with Sam and Professor Bear. You can catch that on Monday mornings. They just getting started, so make sure y'all go to their YouTube page and subscribe to their channel and check out their podcast.
Thank you. Can I plug it really quick?
Go for it.
No, I can't do it as better as Mike just did it here, but I'm going to give it the best shot that I possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, we've started a new endeavor. This is your Monday morning, your commute to work. If you work from home, you can have it on in the background while you're getting the lunches made. It premieres at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. We cover everything that happened the week before, so we give you a heads up to what to expect in the week coming. We do a quick rundown of all the shows. We don't dig deep. We just give you our highlights, and we talk about the headlines of the week going into the week. So the Professor and the Sap, every Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. You don't want to miss it, man.
Well, look at you guys plugging your shows. Well,
I forgot to plug a couple things.
Thanks, brother Mike.
Okay, so the I forgot to plug my the companies. So
yeah, you might want to do that.
Yeah. So you can see me wrestle at Mega Pro Wrestling. They are on YouTube as Mega Pro Wrestling, and American Pro Wrestling TV. Find them on YouTube and on Rumble. So you'll see a lot of my matches there, and that's the only two places I work as of now. So
you'll get
looking to branch out. So
you'll get there. Yeah, go check out any promoter or anybody. Go check them out. Do it right now. I want to give a big shout out to the promotion I'm working with, Triple Crown Wrestling. I wasn't there last Saturday because I had the flu, which sucks. But I heard that no good Walrus Brandon T. Wilson and my good friend Christopher Matthew, they went ahead and they were able to cover us. Big shout out to Keenan, who is my commentary partner. He's in the hospital. Brother, get to feeling better. I hope to see you. I hope you better be there next month because I ain't dealing with Wilson, bro. I will come get you we'll break out of Louisville Hospital, man. I will come get you. Do not leave me with Wilson, please, for everything that is good in this world. That'd be my own personal hell. But I want to give a big shout out to the Wrestling Society Network. You probably already heard it already. The Wrestling Society Network. You can make your very own account for free on thewrestlingsociety.com. You can check out not only this show, but Professor Bears, soon Cards Subject to Change, Wrestling for the 313, Sample Chance podcast. You know, all of these different podcasts hanging out, not only that are associated with WSN, but are also just different podcasts that we work with. We're not we'll work with anybody as long as you're not racist buttholes. Or idiots, for that matter. All right.
Let's not cause any mayhem here, Joe. Come on.
Okay, I'm sorry. You guys know something can't be in the but anyway.
Oh boy.
Live television, folks. But cornbread, dang it, cornbread.
Never made it no harm.
All right, but other than that, you know, if you love the sport of professional wrestling, keep supporting it, keep loving it. If you like the videos, like, subscribe, go check out the playlists of the history of professional wrestling. This is probably going to get thrown in there with it. Over 20 this week will be our 26th episode. We just celebrated our 25th episode of that. So we're ending off with the 26th episode talking about Florida, which be coming out this coming Wednesday. The next Friday would be the Joe Monroe Show Awards, co-hosted by none other than CZ. I know you guys, if you want to pop in, you're more than welcome to pop in, say hello. But we're going to have a great time. It's in celebration. It's the holiday season, and I hope to see you all Wednesday and next Friday. Keep supporting professional wrestling. Keep the history of professional wrestling alive. But if you're going to be a troll and you don't have anything better to do but sit in your mom's basement and be keyboard warriors, do me a favor and just shut up and enjoy professional wrestling. That's all I got to say about that. Go ahead, Mark, take us out. Mark, take us out. Mark!
Did you like the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media outlets. We'll see you next time.